Hey there.
You sure you can see the website?
You guys are right, it's almost 8:30.
Yeah.
Didn't want to get here early, so.
Hey, sorry about that.
Oh, we gotta let them know when the leaders.
I'm good. I just didn't know. I know that Andy was off. I just had to run to a breaking news press conference, and I didn't want to make sure somebody was around to read, but I'm good. I got Andy. We're going to announce charges and. Oh. Yeah, but I'd like to have eyes on it first, just because. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Andy's going to be around. They're filing charges in the Acknowledgments series. So, yeah. So I just didn't know who was around, but Andy's good, so I appreciate it, though. Okay. Oh, perfect. That's good to know. I didn't know that. Okay. That's good to know moving forward. Oh, well, that's really, nobody ever told me that. That's really good to know moving forward. I wouldn't even thought of that, but that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm good. Thank you, sir. Either way. Okay. That's good to know. I should probably make a note of that. Okay. I just want to make sure that I didn't post with us. Yes. Yep.
Hey, if I do my phone and have live smart, I'll do the.
Oh, that's
Hi,
right.
everybody.
Hey!
Chief is on the way.
Okay.
Put it on the web, are you able to do that?
Long time no see.
I know, how are you?
I'm good.
See, you just got a press conference here.
I'm not going to say you guys open here because I was about to have it at home, but
About arrest me, you want to go to the web, I can get my phone and hold it here and give you a live stream from my phone, it's on a live view.
Just ask it, I was.
Yeah, or do you want to, it's a press conference. Yeah, I mean, I get the live view through the truck and I don't even get it. Yeah, I meant to, I'm here now, I'm gonna roll on it.
No, I said they said he's on his way, so he's gonna be coming work down the hall or he's gonna come to his office.
Yes, but
He's
I have my phone in the live, you're going to live stream, so I'll get ready on the back. I didn't get it. So if you, I mean, if you have a chance to get my phone out of there, you want to get it pretty simple, you can probably. Yeah, he's in now, I can tell you the 150 or whatever. It's going to 58. Let me go down.
I know how my son, that's not it. What's going on, man?
It's a white sedan.
White sedan.
My car's white, so I'll make sure. You didn't say top.
Hey, you know, okay.
But if it was, how you
I think I'm gonna put it like what?
I know, right? It seems like it. Jim, how are you? Yes.
If you look at the show, what was that she said? Yeah.
All right, good evening. I appreciate you being here, Ms. Wilson, Ms. Devine, thank you for being here. The purpose of the news briefing tonight is to provide an update on the fatal death of 7-year-old Knowledge Sims. To say this has been an emotional last few days for the police department would be an understatement. This has been quite an emotional journey for Knowledge's family, and this has been a long time coming. Earlier this evening, about 6 p.m., 24-year-old Trayvon Wilson was located in a 2500 block of Bailey Street and arrested for the murder of Knowledge Sims. Wilson was arrested by Columbia police officers and members of the U.S. Marshals Carolina Regional Task Force. The arrest occurred without incident. Ironically, this arrest location is about a mile from where Knowledge was murdered shortly before 11:30 p.m. on April 29th of 2020 at the Tarragon Drive home. Wilson is currently being questioned upstairs in the Criminal Investigations Bureau by investigators, and he'll be transported to Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center at a later time. We'll also be charging 21-year-old Quatez Carter, who is currently in custody on unrelated charges. Service of those active murder warrants are currently underway. Both suspects will be charged with murder, attempted murder, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, discharging a firearm into a dwelling, and criminal conspiracy. To recap, the two suspects are accused of shooting multiple times into a residence at 109 Tarragon Drive in the Capitol Heights neighborhood off of Farrow Road. This again occurred April 29th of 2020. CPD officers initially responded to a shot spotter alert on that night. Approximately a minute later, we received emergency calls from 109 Tarragon Drive reporting that 2 children had been injured by gunfire. As a result of this incident, 7-year-old Knowledge Sims was struck by gunfire and later pronounced deceased at a local hospital. His 13-year-old sister survived her injuries. At the time of the shooting, the house was occupied by 9 people, 2 adults and 7 children. No one else suffered injuries. CPD investigators have never believed Knowledge Sims was the intended target. That belief has not changed. Ballistic evidence collected from the scene by CPD officers and submitted to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division lab for analysis has been forensically matched to the crime. The evidence was entered into the National Integrated Ballistics Information Network, NIBIN. You hear us talk about that all the time and the importance of it. And additional matches were confirmed. Firearms related to the case were seized. The Sims investigation remains active and additional arrests are possible. Consistently, we've talked about the lack of public assistance in this investigation. Despite multiple pleas of Crime Stopper tips, reward monies, our investigators have spent hours on this. The last few days, they've done a phenomenal job tracking the whereabouts of Mr. Wilson and successfully making this arrest without incident. I want to specifically thank several people, 2 CPD investigators, Investigator Brian Van Outen and Investigator William Hilton. William Hilton has been working this case since it occurred. He's done a phenomenal job and developed just an incredible rapport with Knowledge's mother, remains in contact with her all the time. He's retired, and he's taken this case with him and been an integral part of this case post-retirement. I would also like to thank the Marshals Carolina's Regional Fugitive Task Force. They worked tirelessly with us these last few days. The Fifth Circuit's Solicitor's Office, Solicitor Gibson, I know is going to make some comments here. We worked very closely with them from the very beginning. 2 of the deputy prosecutors, Lamar Fial and Jennifer McKellar, were instrumental in working with our investigators as they strategized, discussed the case, and again brought it to fruition this evening. I would also like to acknowledge the work of the SLED Lab in our partnership with this case and with all of our violent crime cases with the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. That relationship and that collaboration is critical to any successes we have with our violent crime strategies and our violent crime reduction. We will continue to leverage technology. This case is a great example of that and how we see a return on that very important investment. I'll tell you that one of the tough things that come with my position is speaking with families that have lost loved ones. It's very gratifying when we are able to circle back with family members that have lost loved ones, and I had the opportunity to meet with Dante Sims a little bit ago, and you know, what I told her is this case, this tugged at the heartstrings of every single person in this building from the very beginning. I've said this before, you know, we're all moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and we have children, and you know, any loss of life is a tragedy, but when you see an innocent child needlessly murdered, it's, you know, unimaginable. And this was not a good moment for our city. And I would say this, we got to be better than this. This case has lingered because we have not had cooperation. We were better than this, and I just appeal to our citizens. We got to say this is enough. It is absolutely enough. We have a small percent of the population committing the majority of our violent crime and wreaking havoc in our neighborhoods, destroying families, destroying neighborhoods. That's what's happened here. Families have been affected forever. And there's 2 other families that are going to be affected now because we're charging 2 people with murder. Solicitor.
Thank you, Chief. I will keep my comments brief at this juncture as we thank all of the departments that have tirelessly worked to at least bring this portion of the investigation to the arrest of the gentleman that Chief Holbrook has mentioned. All I'll say at this point in time is that our office, the Fifth Circuit Solicitor's Office, thanks each and every one of you for this investigation, for the tireless hours, months, and years that have gone into this investigation. There is still work to be done. We're going to reserve our specific comments for the courtroom for whenever those time periods come where those defendants will have an opportunity to have their day in court. We will make our comments at that point in time. But today, we're pleased that this investigation has culminated in the arrests of, and because of those arrests, we hope that the community can rest a little bit more, but there's work to be done. So again, thank you for that work, and we have much more work to be done. But as Chief has implored all of us, we can be better, we deserve better, let's be better in what we're doing, at what we do and how we do it. Let's be a better community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes this press conference.
Chief Holman, take a couple questions.
Carter, when was he arrested? Tonight, 6 p.m.?
It's underway right now. He's already in custody.
Okay.
You said that Mr. Wilson was arrested, or Wilson was arrested just about 6 o'clock?
I did.
Okay. I know that he's currently upstairs. Did he express any kind of remorse or say anything?
We're obviously not going to talk about any interviews that are going on right now.
What led you to these 2 particular people?
Police work. This is, you know, investigators have put this case together from the very beginning. Again, we had no tips. We relied on the officers beating the streets, conducting dozens and dozens of interviews, leveraging technology, you know, allowing the forensics examinations to run their course, and again, just putting a good solid case together and working very closely strategically with the solicitor's office to make that case.
You said from the beginning that it was clear that they weren't necessarily targeting knowledge. Is there a better sense of a motive here?
We believe there is, and that's something that'll you know, bear out in the future as this case progresses.
Are they both facing the same charges that you read off?
They are.
Okay.
I know you don't want to stay too long, it sounds like, but.
I'm sorry?
I said, I know you don't want to stay longer, but I do think you want to acknowledge this. You said you didn't have any cooperation, but I'm not sure exactly the public knows what cooperation totally means. So can you spell that out more directly, what you want from the public?
We want them to when police officers and investigators are, and a crime occurs, to cooperate with law enforcement. Pick the phone up, tell us what they saw. Be willing to step forward and provide information, and it'll help us hold people accountable and bring people to justice. We never say we require somebody to go on the record or give us their name. We just want the information to assist us with identifying offenders and, again, hold people accountable.
Was there a specific tipping off point that happened within the last several months that kind of led you guys to this conclusion?
I don't think there was any specific moment. Again, we were just, things continued to develop, continued to reinforce the direction that we were going, and again, it just, it came together.
Can you share Dante Sims' reaction when you found out that, now there's some peace and closure in her family, that knowing that?
I would just say she was emotional. Thank you.
Hey, Jennifer.
Yes, ma'am. Can you pop those two mug shots back up for me, please?
Yeah.
On the slideshow? He'll do it.
And I want to make sure that name's spelled right. Because now it's kind of like Trayvon without T, there's no Y or anything. It's
Sorry, can you hear
correct
me?
spelled, right?
I know.
Yeah, I can hear all that stuff.
Can I ask you a question while you're looking? Sure, something.
Sorry.
You said the other arrest is underway. I'm not exactly sure. I'm assuming that means like he's
Yep.
in custody.
Yeah,
He's not booked yet.
No, he's incarcerated, but we can't divulge more specifics.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
It's like unrelated charges
Yeah.
to this specific case.
Oh, so he's not,
And that if we say something to, and Chief mentioned that there's warrants to be served.
is he charged with murder in this case or no?
Yes.
Oh, but you're saying there's other,
Okay.
Yes, he's currently incarcerated on
Yeah, he
unrelated
did.
charges.
Oh, okay, so you don't have to arrest him. He's already.
Correct. So
Okay, got it.
Chief made a reference to serving those arrest warrants.
Okay, understood.
Like, it's underway.
yeah, but I'm just saying, if after you said 2 arrests have been made in connection with the shooting.
Say 2 charges.
Oh, we're done, so.
Or 2 people in charge.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
Can we get charged with the mug shot?
Oh, right, 2 people have been charged. All right.
Yes.
But they've both been charged with murder in this
Yes.
case.
Correct.
2 people have been, right, thank you. 2 people have been charged.